Sports for You London Boxing News from the capital city here with Shane McGuigan. Shane, final press conference for your fighter David Haye. All the hard work's been done, and he's just said there that his body's held up for the first time in 3 training camps. How do you, as a trainer, view them?
Just getting him to listen to his body, mate. That's it. It's like one of these things is, like what he was doing when he was younger. As he started getting older, he was breaking down. But I think a lot of it was to do with David as well. Like in their head, they felt they had to tick all those boxes to get in the ring. But this was too much in their body. I said, look, you can spar. He sparred 9 rounds. Sparred 10 rounds. You can spar 9 or 10 rounds, like with fresh guys in all the time. Yeah, of like lesser opposition in cruiserweights and some of them cruisers and heavies. But they've got 2 rounds. And they're pushing him for. That's where you need to get fit. You don't need to go and get fit on a versatile climber or a sled or whatever like that, and do these box jumps and everything like that. So we made sure he felt good in sparring, and he punched a lot. He was punching 5 times a week, whereas before he was punching 2 or 3 because his shoulders were hurting so we ticked off all the boxes. He feels good, and that's the most important thing, because a happy fighter is a good fighter.
Did you set David test? Did you, as you wanted him to be a certain way under your leadership, but did you set David tests along the way to see if his body would hold up?
I just think like it's just the sparring. I think the only test you have to really set is pads and sparring. Because you overextend in sparring, and it's live opposition in front of you, and they're making you miss as well as you're making them, and that's what tires people out the most. So I didn't so much say, okay, you got to bench press this at this certain time. He's a natural athlete. We don't need to go and do stupid tests that are irrelevant to the boxing. So we just made sure he ticked off all the boxes when it came to the sparring and the pad work, and he feels happy, and that's the most important thing.
Common knowledge, the hardest thing to do after a 3.5 year break in boxing is to come back
back in,
especially with David, reconstructed right shoulder, which is no joke in any sport, Shane, is it? But to come back into
the thing is, he made sure, before I even started working with him, he made sure his shoulders were 100% rehabs, and it took a long time. It wasn't an overnight job, and we've been talking about this comeback since last December. I remember going to his house on Christmas Eve, and he got me around there for 6 hours, and we planned it all out. And he just at that time he wasn't ready to come back, but now he is ready, and now we're here, a year on, and people think it's it's an irrational decision, and he's just made this decision because Anthony Joshua's on the horizon and Tyson Fury's just won. Look, his intent is to win the heavyweight world title, no matter who holds it, and he wants to prove to his fans, more importantly, that he is still there and he's loyal to them, and he's going to get through it. He gets a lot of bad press, but look, he's a really nice guy. He trains extremely hard, sometimes too hard, and I think he's just going to prove a lot of doubters wrong.
Do you think sometimes when a fighter has the bad luck, and there were question marks over injuries, and God knows how many conspiracy theories went on with that David had to go through, but do you think it's a tad unfair what he receives, maybe on social media and stuff like that, the criticism that David's received in the past?
They always say, a boxer's only as good as his last fight, and when you got him pulling out of 3 of them, what are they going to expect of him? So the only way to overcome that is just to prove them all wrong and go in there and do it and look sensational on the night. We're nearly there, and I know, look, boxing fans are fickle. They love you one minute and they hate you the next. It's been proven many times. So once he makes a big statement, all his fans will come back, and what's more, Tyson Fury's got a lot of fans as well, and Joshua's got. They're all coming in from different angles, and they all bring something to the table. And rather than try and avoid each other, why not all mix it in with each other? Why not fight each other? There's huge fights to be made in Britain.
Most definitely. That's one of the most frustrating things we were covering last week, is that at the minute when you've got rival networks, promoters that don't get on, etc., it'd be nice now for all that to be set aside, and the best fight, the best going forward in this year, maybe, you know.
Exactly. Look at Frampton Quigg. You know, we don't like both sides don't really get along and don't see eye to eye. We've set our differences apart, and they're fighting each other in the peaks. That's the most important thing. You know, you don't want to see a Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao moment where one is sort of just past it and the other one's way past it. You know, these guys are both fighting in their peaks, and that's what, you know. Although David Haye may not be at his best, or people may not think he's at his best, he's still got a lot left in the tank, and I still think he's going to prove huge problems to everybody out there. I think he can be better. It's just about proving it to himself as well as the fans, you know. From what I see in the gym, and he's extremely confident sort of guy, but you know, it's just about overcoming it and getting back in there and doing what he does best. And this is the start of, you know, of a good few fights on the spin. You know, he's not going to go off and let his body get way out of whack and then have to go through this whole process that we've gone through to get him back. You know, he's got the intention of fighting regularly and getting himself right back in the mix and in the position that people need him.
An imaginary scenario, I know, Shane, but if that was Deontay Wilder sitting there, could David deal with Deontay Wilder at this moment?
Deal with anyone. He could deal with anyone, you know, and he knows it, you know, and so do I. But possibly right now, after 3.5 years, no, it's not the right fight for him. But you know, 1 or 2 more fights, not even that, you know, next fight after that, you know, if I can see, you know, Derek Chisora fighting Anthony Joshua, I can see if Anthony Joshua blows Derek Chisora out of the way, that's a huge fight. That could be. It makes a lot more sense if there's a world title on the line. You've got Lucas Brown versus Ruslan Shagayev. I don't even know how that's going to go. Everyone thinks Shagayev's going to beat him, but you know, Brown's, you know, a big puncher and he's rugged, and Shagayev's past it. So Deontay Wilder's fighting against Spitka. That's not an easy fight for him. You know, he's awkward and wild. He can come over the top. He could land a good shot. The IBF one's vacant at the moment. I don't know when's that's going to be fought for.
IBF is this Saturday on
the undercard of Wilder. Yeah. So I mean, there's so many things going on in the heavyweight division. It's. I mean, it's been dormant for so long with the Klitschko's. Now suddenly, you know, there's going to be such a swing in this next sort of 2 weeks, you know, so or week, sorry. So you know, doors may be open, and you know, when one closes, the other one opens. So it's really exciting for us.
Fantastic. Just finally for me, Shane, David said that he didn't want to sit down and watch Mark De Mori because obviously you get a fight against a 2-weight world champion, you raise your game, you know, things change. Have you seen any?
Yeah, I've seen Mark. Yeah, I've seen what Mark does. I've looked at his fights. You know, he's quite awkward. He's quite awkward to read, and you never know how he's going to fight because he hasn't mixed it with the best level. So he's got it his own way. So we don't know what his instinctive fighting habits are going to be. You know, sometimes people mess about, you know, when they're at a lower level, and then as soon as they get up there, they can either crumble or they can rise to the occasion. We're expecting him to rise to the occasion and bring his best and apply decent pressure, but you know, the fact is that, you know, everyone that walks into distance, they can't take these shots. He's broke me up, my arms up in the space of like 4 months. But so I just constantly think. I mean, he hit me with a jab the other day, and it's like a horse kick. You know, I thought, imagine if that was a right hand, I wouldn't be here today. So. Yeah, he's extremely powerful, and I think, you know, De Mori's going to be awkward to read. But David doesn't really like to watch. He always makes a joke that he never watches. He only watches fighters that are better than him. So we've got this ongoing thing in the gym that we'll turn away, and it was just a joke. But you know, he's a good talent. He likes to watch people and pick things up from world-class fights.
Fantastic, Shane McGuigan. Thank you for your time, sir. Much appreciated. Cheers, Shane.